Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sino, your host, on-desk analyst, and caster for the day. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day. I know I am, and in brightness of having Siege SI Live, we are rocking the Montreal Major hat. So, without further ado, sit back and relax, and we should be able to have a great best out of 3 series today, and we'll get straight into it after our map intros. Now, as we do come back in from that beautiful little cinematic, I apologize if there was any stutters on my end. I am trying a little bit of a different setup today. So while these guys get their bans throughout and done, let's just take a look at what we have on board for the day for the map vetoes. So as you know, this is an EU cast as always and forever. So we are going to be in a best out of 3 series on the lower bracket quarterfinal, which means we are going to be looking at 3 maps today. Those 3 maps are going to be Clubhouse, Chalet, and Border. Now, I don't really like to focus on the maps that we are going to be playing, but first focusing on the maps that were banned. Skyscraper, an obvious choice, but something that we need to point out is how Layer didn't get banned until the later stages of the ban phase, which is something to speak of. Not a lot of teams like to play Layer, and it's crazy that it got this far into the ban phase, and that's something that both teams were considering while getting their bans done. Bank and Consulate, obvious maps that need extensive amounts of coordination, and it's not really a surprise it gets taken out. Clubhouse, Chalet, the 2 traditional beloved maps in Rainbow Six Siege, and Border being the 3rd that is a little bit controversial. But without further ado, that wraps up our ban phase, and we're about to shortly be done this ban phase, and we are with Azami and Mira taking the defender-sided bans, and Dokkaebi and Jackal taking the attackers. Taking a look at Clubhouse, I haven't casted a Clubhouse game in a minute because all the teams just think it's too mundane to attack. It's just the map that everybody knows how to attack, the map that everybody knows where to go in, how to go in, and where to get the rounds when the rounds are needed. And that's something that's respectable and kind of annoying for everybody at the same time, just because of how many people love seeing this map live and in the flesh. Now, we are going to be looking at a basement site here first, the beloved basement site. A lot of people underestimate this when they can't hold it correctly, and that is why we don't see much of it in the Pro League. But now, we've seen it in SI this morning, and now we're going to see it here in the ECS. We take a look at downstairs, and we see that Mira isn't going to be on the board, meaning they don't have those one-way black mirrors that obviously give the advantage towards the defenders. But seeing Tabaro and Kaid on the board together is just absolutely crucial. You can deny so many hatches, and it's going to be detrimental here for any of the attackers to try to get this hatch. Now, Thermite's not been brought, and they do have Havana as the main reliant operator to find things and get those hatches open. Thatcher being the one to assist her with that. Ash being your entry fragger, and alongside with the Grim on his can openers. Now, we do see a good versatile attacker lineup, which is what is needed, but Kaid is taking heavy amounts of damage, and we don't even know from what yet. Might have attempted to spawn pick and didn't work in his favor, but as you hear, the audio already has one hatch getting blown up, but nothing that we can see. She just used her pellets on. Habana seeming to have used her bullets in absolutely nowhere. You're going to have Grim and Buck assuming control of that top floor, looking at Jacuzzi, hot tub, and they're taking it all. Now you're going to have one man sitting close in secret, make it 2 as the drones are locating and pushing them back down. The drone economy is actually beautiful right now for CrownZero, as they have 9 drones with 1 being shot even after the prep phase. Something to speak about, that's something to criticize, and that's something to say good job, CrownZero. Now, the hatches are starting to be a little delayed when it comes to getting open, and Mute needs to get rid of these drones because of how annoying they'll be later in the round. looking for a little bit of an open concept shot into sight. They are going to reinforce the one wall to allow anybody trying to plant some safety, but allowing their defenders to cross into the hallway nice and safe and allow them to gain asylum to cross between the sites, remaining unharmed from the verticality. Buck still remaining on the 3rd floor, looking for the roamer that doesn't exist, and they're still too late. It's taken a while now to get this execute gone, done, and dusted, and right now, there's a minute left on the clock, and they haven't even gotten the hatches open. They're gonna have to deal with the Kaid and the Tabaro, and there's already been one EMP been used. Tabaro has no intentions on keeping this hatch open until it gets tricked off, and that's exactly what'll happen. He'll continue to use his auto canisters as somebody needs to get aggressive and find a pick here. There's 45 seconds left, and it's all 10 bodies. Beautiful from both teams. You've managed to keep everybody alive. Cage is taking some preliminary damage in the early stages of the round, and that's something that's beautiful. So far, everybody's taking risks, and right now, the risks are no reward for CrownZero. They're struggling. Saturility just is chilling right now. Has nothing to do in Cypher. Relax. This pre-play C4 could find a body if someone chooses to drop the hatch. Flomi does have a C4 in the hand, and the sun's flying through. Allows them the access through flashes, but it's all absolute mayhem here as everybody's just taking damage all over the map, and Mute's gonna go in for the preliminary gunfight, completely unaware there's men swarming on them, and they might be able to actually catch a C4 here. 2v2 here. Malusi, you're clamped in the corner, but the diffuser gets denied before she can even go for the flank, and that's the first round for the Italian Saturility. What a round from both teams. Action all over the map, not allowing us to see anything as we're seeing shots going in through the verticality, shots going in from the hot straps, straight one-on-ones. It's absolute beauty where utility gets used all the way down to the last dying seconds of the round, and that confirms the first in the pocket. Just uppercutted my mic, not the best. We go into gym bedroom as our next on round, and the very expected players are to bring one shield and to extend out into CC or play into logistics. Heddles and Beetles a little bit different. Jump, I would say, not something I've seen too often, but the Warden with the shield on the top red is not something that is too uncommon. Now, you don't have the zombie, so you bring the shield to guard you from the window, and you bring the other operators to help assist the team in keeping this site closed, assisted, and beautiful for the late rounds where you have the attackers coming in from construction and the areas on highway windows and jacuzzi breach. You want to keep as many angles closed down as you want. Right now, you see the two hard breaches, also not too uncommon, as you want one of them to open this jacuzzi breach nice and early, but seeing how its head holds, it might be a little tricky. If a C4 or an impact gets tossed out, might be hard to get this breach fully open, so it might be the better idea to have an entry or somebody with a breach charges to open this, but Thermite will go for it anyways. None of the attackers are near this breach to say anything about that. CC wall has already received a crouch hole, and it's very easy for them to contest it, but right now it doesn't seem like any of the attackers are challenging garage or anything else. Highway window seems to be the main primary focus, and with everybody else going in through, you're going to have the Osa rotating up to the highway windows. You're going to have one man sitting in logistics, and right now the defenders again are just sitting in areas where they don't have to do much. There's no mirror, so no verticality from below is needed, but Nook will have the easy crouch all the way through up the stairs, and she might have something here on her hands. Searching for the imaginary roamer, there is none. Early gunfight here between the Frost and the Osa. The question is, does the Osa know? And the Frost seems to. Is she going to make the mistake of peeking into the bullets of the Frost? She's playing passionate. She's playing patient. And she turns her attention away, and the Osa will act on that off of audio comms, and that's beautiful. Catching him off guard from the window, didn't know his head was visible from that, and using the shield as a mandatory claymore. Could have just used it on the CC breach, but will decide to keep it versatile. Mute has no idea what Mute is looking for here, as he's completely unaware as to where he's getting swung from. And the Overwatch from Neosa just allows entry in the site and all the opening picks, as they found the gap between the defenders and the site itself. But now Castle's the one left in the situation. The diffuser goes down, and it's a 1v4 situation. And Thermite will be the one. Fleeks to shut him down, and that's a round for CrownZero. 2 diffuses almost down in 2 rounds, and a beautiful coordinate by the attackers to put themselves on the board for 1. It's looking a little 50-50 here in between these scenarios, but we're looking at very, very good coordination coming in here from CrownZero. They know where they want to go, and they know when. It's about why and how you want to do things for your execute. And right now, there's no response coming in from Saturility, because guess what? They wait too long. They do beautiful at wasting the time, but right now we just saw a bunch of players get picked off by this singular man on the window, just waiting for them to walk into the bullets in the crosshairs of the Osa, and that's exactly what happened. Same operator lineup will be brought. Osa will be rotated out for a Grim, and other than that, it's all same on the Western Front. You're gonna see the Warden again just going into CC and holding it. Now, we didn't really see the attackers go for a CC or a capture room push, which didn't really matter in the end because they won the round either way. The picks punished by the highway windows allowed them to not even want or need, essentially, to go through CC to gain the access of construction. They only did a jacuzzi breach take, and it worked in the end. No wall deny, something to speak of here. That's a point that we've seen. We don't see many wall deny. We've seen them in the first round bring Tabaro, Kaid, all of these operators to deny everything, but now we haven't seen them bring a single wall deny since the second time around they've went gym bedroom. There's no jammers, there's no Kaid claws, there's no banned electric shock wires, and that just allows the breach to get open nice and easy with no hesitation and no resistance. 40 seconds in, this is the most leeway they've made. Forfeiting their access to bathroom by not reinforcing it now puts the defenders in a little bit of a tricky situation. Now that CrownZero has the access to watch the little bathtub, and now all the operators have to sit either below or in corners where they are not visible through these angles. Loki looking to be the first attacker in 2 rounds to be pushing in through garage, but guess what? Ace is already there. Mistake. And you're already gonna have them completely switch up the attack with 2 players prioritizing getting these highway windows open, and the rest of them are now going garage side. Getting that open is nothing but more pressure for the defenders, and the Grimby's getting sent in allows no ratting to ensue, but you got to guarantee that you've cleared your corners if you're gonna commit all 5 players to it. And Scripps gets the first kill. Can he punish the Frost? Because Frost is gonna try to punish you. Thermite narrowly escaping death right now, and it's still just straight gunfights. Throwing a Selma breach at the Fenrir, and right now he seems to be going out swinging. He has nowhere to go, but take one up with him, and he goes down swinging. And what was a little bit of a funny encounter with the Ace is going to eventually lead to the death of the Fenrir, and right now Castle has been tasked with finding the kill off of Logistics because he's wedging the attackers right now and keeping them pinned down. Give them the control of this, and that's the complete access of Logistics and construction gone. Mew has a little bit of a surprise for anybody walking into these bullets, and both castles have now been breached. Lupin wrapping around to the jacuzzi breach, but no one's there as the attackers are now just looking for a centralized construction play. Last 2 Grimbies will be used, and they're all just waiting to get the utility out the way. Wallbang almost connects with the Mute, and right now Nook is going to be the one on the front lines to find our first gunfight. Damage dealt to the man trying to play in the corner, and Grim now just walking in directly, going for it. A trade, a 1-for-1 situation. The man with the case is now tasked with finding the kills, and he'll make it a 1v3 as Lupin has 1 hit by an FNAT. He needs to isolate the gunfight with the Ace sitting in the corner because he can't see, and he will do so indeed, and the plant will go down, and the Grim escapes to see another day. Loki on 5 HP. Not the greatest idea for you to be on the roof when your teammate is literally 1, but it is what it is. Right now, taking the early contest on from the windows, and that's Baki to get the second round on for CrownZero, and the Germans take it 2-1. Maybe gym isn't the best stand. Basement will be unlocked due to the 2 losses upstairs. And they'll either move on to CC or the basement, and that answer is shortly revealed as we go right back downstairs. Taking us into the next round, we're going to see the Blitz as that Chaos Agent. That is something that was going to be needed at first round. And seeing how Blackbeard hasn't been banned as well, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if we didn't see him being brought. Blackbeard, Blitz, the 2 Chaos Agents, one of them can deliver you with that impactful flash, and the other one will deliver 30 rounds of an AR straight to your face, or 26 rounds now about the nerf. But the 2 agents aren't needed to add chaos to a site if you have all the hatches closed, but a little bit of a rush onto getting the hatches open might be the idea here to help them win the round. But we're seeing Sens on the board, and we've been seeing this in SI quals and a bunch of other play days that will show us a bunch of plays on how to use him due after his recent updates where he can now turn his lasers on and off. Sens will be the case carrier. He has 4 of these projectile lasers and has a 417 in the pocket. Pack-a-punch loadout, if I do say so myself, and right now, Maverick has been brought to get those hatches open, and that's something that's credible and respectable. You have the can openers coming in from the Tabaro for those hatches that aren't as protected, but you do have the Maverick to avoid the Zoto canisters and the Kite Claws themselves. The only problem and the only worry now is if a C4 will get tossed while you are dealing with this denial. All the defenders here didn't see much roaming coming in from Saturility. It doesn't really matter for them as they've managed to win downstairs without needing to roam, and they managed to boil it down to the last dying seconds almost every round. So now it's all about who can really get the first pick here. Game hasn't been too action-packed as we've just been seeing back and forth trades. Maverick is going to be the one tasked with getting this hatch open, and Quick Feet is going to guarantee his death isn't going to be as fast. Banshee is going to be located, and he does locate the Maverick the second we switch off. We thought he was being smart, but apparently not. That's one hatch denied due to a headshot from the MPX in the hands of Flomi, and now Warden just caught roaming around the whereabouts of Garage, wondering what he was even doing. Isn't going to be the greatest. Mute Crossing takes some damage. It's like they're in their own heads. CrownZero here to respond to every single play Saturility will have here for them. Italian seeming to struggle to find the adaptability needed to be able to get around here. And now it's going to be 47 seconds left in a 4v4 situation, as now it's been evened out. The Germans have found 1 kill. Very good pick. And now they just need to hold on to the even differential. They cannot go down. 1 C4 is left in the hands, and it has to be used wisely. 3 Zoto canisters can be used even if it's not just for the hatches. Flashes coming in is just something you don't want to deal with. A little bit of aggression coming in here from Dirt, but the flashes don't land. Cade pulling out the Star Wars pistol, but taking damage to the shotgun and going down. Double kill here, double up into blue, and what just happened as the Italians get themselves back on the board out of a little bit of a multifaceted chaos push. You need to get those hatches open sooner. If you didn't want to struggle with that, you needed to ban Kaid or Tabaro, but you didn't, and now you're paying the price. Second round in the hands of the Italians, and now it seems like they're gonna try bedroom and gym again. They've lost it twice, but they're still gonna opt for it and not even look towards the dreadful sight of the CC and cash room. They're not going to see the second time hard creature around. You are just going to see the thermite with no ace. Now the question is, how is Saturility going to hold it with a round advantage? They just won it. Can they take this momentum into the next? One more round before the attacker defenders switch. chat. Just getting something set up on my end. Now, we have seen good but not amazing holds from Saturility on this site specifically. We've seen them get punished for the craziest things, and now we just need to see the coordination that'll help them push into the rounds with the advantage they need, because clubhouse defense on your map pick is just not something you want to be losing. This is Saturility's map pick, so maybe not the best of ideas when it comes to losing rounds on defense. Those crucial, viable rounds, just like plutonium. So valuable. You need to get them, and you need to get them now. The 2 hard breachers, the 6th pick, has been used to switch back on Ace and get the CC breach open, and it seems like they're going to be going around for the same push. Early engagement finally goes in the way of the Fenrir. We sat in the same exact corner, and apparently the attackers didn't build on that. Get swung right outside the breach, and that is the sentry going to be put on a striker. Death Wish. Now you're going to see the Warden sitting here waiting to receive damage from Secret, but denying it, and Nook would have been in here for a funny demise if they didn't drone that properly. Concerned now and just fully committing to this hold. It's all about who can win their gunfights here, and now they all have it just locked down, and Skips deciding to take the control and lead it. Is it Skips? I have to ask. These Germans. Fenrir getting aggressive again and winning that gunfight, almost getting the triple kill. He does get the triple kill. That's a headshot to confirm that, and gets traded out. Not fast enough to react, and Nook, you had the drone on him earlier, and why didn't you react the second time around? Double kill from Blood will get the second round in a row for Saturility, and that's the Italians holding Jim Bedroom down successfully for the first time, taking us into their last round on defense, where they finally have an advantage. That is a textbook 10 out of 10 round. The one man on the aggression, the second man to play off of your bodies, it's just beautiful. And that is the round deserved for them, and that will take them to CC Cashroom, as now they have no other opportunity or option unless they wanted to go bar stage, but nobody wants to go bar stage. What a game by both teams right now. Neck and neck on best on the first map in a best out of 3 series is just something that's beautiful. Now, I don't know, maybe the basement sites was just not a favorite of theirs, but for Jim Bedroom, we've never really seen the Italians bring any type of wall deny, but now we're seeing them just bring it all over. So, a little confusing, but they will be bringing the Tabaro and the Kaid paired up once again. Only giving up access to Garage, and maybe that is actually something for the better here, as no zombie, no Wamai, nothing. Giving up Garage with no castle on the Vert is going to be a little confusing. Goyo will be the main man on the roam. Grim having the general idea of what's going to happen here, but can Goyo catch him off guard is the question. He's sitting, he knows what he wants to do, and so does the Grim. There's no essential warm-up, and there's no essential drone on him anymore, as the cam has been pushed up, but Goyo will go on for greater pastures and won't contest that window for as long as we can say. Cade will be tasked with holding stage. There's no castle, so Lounge is going to be a free man, as there's no head holes on it as well. Pressure being dealt from the roof as well, and Garage seems to be free as Monty's taking rafters. And now it's all easy for them to walk in, but if he decides to hop in the side and the Kaid's waiting for a C4, it's nice and easy. The breach will finally get open onto Garage, and that is all pressure from Garage denied, as the Zoto canister will have something to say about that. They have brought the sense again. You have to give credit where credit is due, as these teams love their utilities so very much. frag grenade here has the potential to do some damage, but doesn't, as the second Zoto canister, last Zoto canister, will help deny again as the Monty will shoot it off from Garage. Monty waiting to play into the swing of the Tabaro, and now it's just Cade that has the opportunity to add some pressure here as he just goes for a wide swing, gets a double kill on the run out, almost gets refragged up by the Monty, but he'll get him. And Baki now, no assistance from Garage as the Grim finally runs back up to give him that assistance needed, but now you're in absence of two bodies and the smoke's getting thrown through. It's just not the best, but now Pex rushes the acceleration and decides to die fast, and the Monty realizes he doesn't have the case. What a blunder as he goes down, and now the C4 will connect with Locky, and Grim gets shattered from rafters, forgetting they didn't have the case. Textbook Siege, check if you have the case or not. They forget to, and they pay the dear price as the Italians run away with the lead 4-2 as they switch on. What a round, again, capitalizing off the utility. We move on to Church and Arsenal. Yet once again, seems like this is a fan favorite for both teams, as nobody takes pleasure in losing such an easy site. And so far, we haven't seen anybody lose. There's a 100% success rate on this specific site. So let's see if they can keep this up, because so far it's been absolutely beautiful coming in from both teams. CrownZero had something to say about those two gym bedroom rounds, but now it seems like they've fallen a little bit behind, and now they have a little bit of a well to dig themselves out of. You're gonna see the Blackbeard and the Gridlock being paired up as this Gridlock gets put into the past as she switches back onto the IQ, but that was what I was talking about. You need the Chaos Agent, whether it's a Blitz or a Blackbeard. Right now, it's all quiet on the Western front, and almost early engagement, almost led it to the downfall of this Ram, as the Boss G and the Goyo will be teamed up together to take care of business. You're going to have him wait here, and that is patience is a virtue, but guess what? The Boss G might have gotten nerfed, but it's still an absolute weapon if you can close it down to less than a 10-meter gunfight. Drone economy, not as good as CrownZero's, but it's something to speak of. IQ now knows exactly where he is, and deciding to quick peek when he has the gun that'll take you gone. Didn't matter if it was a body shot, as it was a headshot, and that's the first kill in the favor of CrownZero. Now maybe Saturility is not too aware of how they play, because they weren't expecting so much action and so many roamers to be upstairs. He knows somebody would be playing off his cross, but right now punishing the first, and Mute not being able to catch him in time. Vigil has the Boss G. That's the nerf in effect there, as you see him plant a body shot and do no damage. And now Blood will be the second to take the gunfight. Will deal more damage than damage taken. But now we're seeing Saturility have a little bit of a hard time adapt to how aggressive CrownZero plays in defense, because their team played so much more passive. But knowing this, it means it's so much easier to work your way into sight and worm your way through, as they just capitalize the fact that there's no one in sight, but those are the ones who have to win. The Grim goes down, and the Haban either has to choose the res or help out, pop the Goyo or help his team out. And the res is something that's actually very possible here, as none of the teams seem to know the Grim is down, but you're crawling all over the site. A team is bound to know that you're down, and deciding to go through. It's a double kill or a triple kill for Hookah in total to give that round to CrownZero. And a general clueless round coming in the favor of the Italians doesn't really help them out, but they still have the advantage, and that's 4-3, a neck-and-neck game. We go right back up to gym bedroom, and it's going to be a little bit of a tough situation. And it is going to be a tough situation right now for CrownZero to come back from. This is a site that's beloved, but you need to hold it down to a T. Now, the drones very nicely pre-placed as the two other ones got sacrificed. Not the best, not the worst. Looking like a much more comprehensive hold, but now with the absence of a shield, as either Frost is late or they're not going to use it here. However, that means if you do use the shield here on the highway, if you do use the shield here on red, that means the highway is going to be completely open and the bed is not going to protect anybody sitting behind the chassis or close in the corner. What is up with these early engagements? CrownZero almost losing a very early body, and that Valkyrie would have been absolutely crucial to lose. And that engagement is going to have the IQ again, just beaming anybody who decides to walk in her way. But a little bit of shoddy aim from both teams is something to speak of here, because they could have had a lot more capitalizations on the kills they had if they were to just capitalize on the picks they have. Thermite gets the breach open, and now it's two people. Two operators lined up, and Flora is being brought up for the first time, finally, is going to the one to add pressure. Flora's knowing he cannot overextend, as if he loses his body, it's going to be absolutely amazing for the defenders. But that is no longer a concern, as they'll get the first body, allowing one of the attackers to close in. Rotating in close in construction allows Mute to play a little bit more aggressive with that shotgun. But IQ placing a breach charge here will definitely make him meet his maker, as he goes down to 50 HP, and he barely is lucky to say he's alive. Bandit left in the attacker pool now. Valkyrie stuck in a corner, and now not the best of situations here, as the Flora's drone will actually push one back. Castle gets a frag off of Jacuzzi Breach, and Valkyrie needs to at least get a stun or something. Some pressure needs to be ensued here on construction, as she has a good hold here. If Bandit goes down, not the best of ideas, but he'll get one. Bandit peeking up to get a double kill, and right now it's not looking the best in the situations, but guess what? The pressure from the attackers is just too great, as Lupin will get another, and now two people pushing in from construction, and Bandit left to come up main stairs, and logistics is going to be the name of the game of who can hold it down the better. But right now, is it going to matter if a flick from Pex will get him the first? Can it get him the second? No C4 denial in hand. It has to be pure gun skill. And now the Castle only advantage is he has HP in his favor. Can he win his ones? We were in a similar situation where we've seen this boil down to the last two ones and cannot isolate, as a double swing makes it guaranteed impossible for you to make that out alive, as Castle go down and give the double advantage lead again to the Italians. This game is neck and neck, but it seems like somebody has a taller neck, as the Italians are just running away with it. They try the site once more, because it has to be better to hear. You have to choose. If you want to keep this breach open, you've got to keep this castle either protected by a jammer or somebody playing aggressive from garage or the windows, because if you lose it, we've seen what happens. You get pressured off and you lose control of this very crucial room. The room that connects the soft roam, Logi, the sites, and the room you're extended into. Not the best of situations to be in, but nonetheless not impossible to come back from. But they are one round shy away from either confirming it to be a 5-4 or a match point. Haven't seen a Deimos, luckily, for any of the operators, so we haven't seen too many roam heavy clears. So far, both teams haven't really been focused on getting the roamers. They've just been focused on getting the site breach and the utilities around it. Early engagement goes in the favor of the Frost, and seems like she's just a little bit on a rampage. CrownZero just seems like they want to go aggressive, and right now it's working for them, as they've gotten the first pick, almost the second, but the crosshair is just like a pin threaded a needle, and he gets that kill. And that'll be Flammy to narrowly survive death. Don't know how the Frost can't kill him there, but low HP is a very massive factor in this case. Low on HP, but Bandit still tricking is not going to be the best of situations. And a very easy kill for anybody trying to get that barricade up. Would have met their maker, but they were a little late to getting it in. Free 30 points there for the Grim, as now they just need to commit to getting red and logistics and cash clear. When you put in all those ands, it seems like a very big task, but with 8 cogs and very nice utilities, doesn't seem to be too difficult when you have your teammates also adding pressure in from Jacuzzi and Highway. Flora Shield will survive due to the electricity coming in from Bandit Shockwire. A little shocked to say so, but Valk will assume the position of the construction corner. Bandit will decide to assume and leave the control, and they're going to give it up completely because they've wasted 2 minutes. And that's a good recognition of how much time you should waste. The Mute finds the life of the man trying to walk into the breach, and that's the life of your ace gone. Flora's immobilized for the rest of the round. Through a frost mat, not going to be the greatest of situations for him. They know how imperative it is to get control of these rooms. Logistics more important than all because you can wedge yourself between the site and the defenders. Very important. No C4s left, but they have the man advantage. It all boils down to right now. C4 will find one on the pre-placed, but he'll find Hookah before he can get that down, executed to a T. Pre-fire from the castle himself will confirm the round in the favor of CrownZero, as it's very hard to find 3 bodies against a shotgun, a man playing passive, and somebody so deep tucked into sight. Don't have the case, don't have a trace. They know where you are, and it's not looking too good in the favor of Saturility, but they still have that round favor in the hand to give it to them. Shotgun at range, it'll still do the damage, it'll do the job, and it will confirm. 5-4, match point narrowly avoided. Haven't seen much of Fenrir this game, but finally seeing him integrated back into the roster, as downstairs is going to be the new game. No Vigil this time, and they are going to switch him out for a castle. Wow, that's a little concerning, but they've given up their flex roam. We've seen CrownZero win rounds when they're very aggressive in the late dying stages of the rounds, but maybe that passive angle will help them to win more rounds and be a little bit more versatile as a team. Looking at the leaderboards, we're not looking at a very balanced leaderboard coming in here from CrownZero. They have 2 outstanding outliers, being your 8 and 6, your 10 and 5, and the 2 underperforming, your 4 and 8s. And the man in the middle, that brings it all together, that's 6 and 4. We're seeing a roaming Mute with 3 jammers in the pocket. You don't see that every day, so hope he puts on a show for us. Some time, but a little bit of a whiff on the drone is going to give up the position. Shield ops being on the board is something essential, but seeing that hatch open must clearly tell you that there's something wrong with the attackers, and something is definitely wrong if you need to go upstairs and start clearing. Mute playing Vert on the hatches and could deny it right now if you were to walk in and shotgun it out. Impact trick a little too long, but a C4 toss is going to claim the life of your Habana as it's green on his head. One hatch soft, the other reinforced with no support, and now the Blitz will seem to be getting in a preliminary gunfight, but leaving Pex to finish it off for him. Mute still on the roam. That is something that is going to be crucial, and nobody's backing up right now as Neil just drop another hatch as he's just running circles around this defense, and he successfully goes back to site. Evades the attackers for a full 2 minutes. Almost a full 2 minutes as we're now boiling down to the last 30 seconds. The FNAFs do need to get boiled, and somebody needs to find it off the verticality, and it does seem that is exactly what just has happened. Rotate allows easy access for the blitz, but now you still have to deal with the C4s and the denial coming in. Drops coming in here, a little bit silent, as they don't have a lot in the mind except for what can you do in this situation. And right now, early gunfights, the Goyle will win it on AKs with the pressure that he has from everywhere else. And Blitz forced to start isolating his ones with a mere pistol. And the Volcan canister will burn off Pex, and it'll be Loki to confirm out the round. And now, that is them on and dusted, and they've struggled. Now, they've had 2 rounds in the advantage, and they've given that up, taking us to 5-5. Whoever takes this next round, it is inevitable we go to OT or to match point. CC and Jim, the inevitable bomb site that not a lot of people like to go through. We've seen a lot of teams struggle to play it. I mean, an absolute blunder from CrownZero when they were on attack. It wasn't the greatest, but mistakes can happen. Everybody is human. They do not have wall hacks like ourselves, so we do have to keep the criticizing down to a minimum. But CC, not the greatest site to hold, and right now they made it a little bit harder for themselves considering they don't have a wall denial on the board. 13 digits in for the smoke. He's doing absolutely beautiful as he's cooking from within. And now we're going to see a little bit of a soft extend into the bedroom. Shield up didn't really work out for them. We didn't see anybody bring in Blackbeard despite him surviving the ban phase, which is a little crazy, but the classic feed holes is going to be an easy kill here for the Gridlock if somebody does decide to walk into it by mistake. That shield being pinged also crucial to find utility. Seems as if a soft roam into the full gym extension is going to be something that'll actually work out for them as they're deciding to waste so much time at the attackers. Frost getting aggressive here, might be able to win the gunfight if she swings or catches anybody off guard, but having a thermite as your backup is going to allow her to just swing in the window, capitalize the damage she dealt earlier, and now Baki will be under 6 feet, will not be seen any longer for this round. Bodies are exactly what is needed for this round, specifically because we're on match point. Sees the head of the Flores, almost whiffs here, but you guys have no awareness of what is going on around you. You're paying the price dearly. The spatial awareness is starting to lack. Maybe because of all 11 rounds they've been playing. Right now it needs to be perfect if you want to take your map. But CrownZero, seeming like they're closing in to taking it home on the map that isn't even theirs. Right now it's all locking down. 3 toxic babes left in the pocket with 3 stims and 2 impacts. A plethora of utility to talk about here, and Maverick still baiting is not going to be anything to help as the breaches are barely open and you have a man playing denial. The frag almost falling down, will almost play into the demise, but denying below with a shotgun or your gun. Both will have a very nice effect here as the attackers have to choose something, but Maverick will decide to catch the man off guard from Lounge, and so getting himself a double kill, triple kill as the Goyle will deny the case in a 2-on-1 scenario where it's not inevitable to lose this and you have the pressure coming in from Garage, but you have the IQ closing on you first. You need to see, you need to hear, you had it in the pocket. But what was an absolute beautiful hold luckily goes in the way of Saturility as they managed to lock in the last dying embers of the round, giving them the match point. And is it going to be overtime? As this game's been so back and forth, I wouldn't be surprised. bedroom, the site that's been 75-25. We haven't seen one team be so determining on it except for Saturility. No one's touching their record. They haven't lost this site a single time, so they have the obvious record hold for this site. But as of right now, it does depend who can take this round, because if they can't decide, we're going to be going into overtime, ladies and gentlemen. This is not infinite overtime, as this is not Pro League, so that is a little positive in its own. They keep it all quiet here, nothing too aggressive, but the only difference is they bring a bandit for the denial in CC, and that works out in their favor most of the time. But seeing how this has been very 50-50, we need to see how they'll play this out. Hopefully nobody makes the mistakes of walking into the Vigil's crosshairs for the second time, but you will walk into a C4's crosshairs that gets chucked out the window, and it connects with the head of the ace. Before he can get any of the breaches, Pex gets a refrag, but the question is, doesn't matter if you get refragged instantly. You've taken care of the man who's supposed to be roaming, but in turn, you've lost your Grim and your ace. But it doesn't matter if Lupin's just frying from within, runs up red stairs, and catches 3 defenders completely lacking, and now the castle, again tasked with wedging himself in between logistics, construction, and the site. Luckily, they do have a thermite all by themselves. They have not gotten Jacuzzi, so it will have to be a push coming in from construction in the highway windows. That has to be so perfect, or it's going to be a confirmed round and the game over. You're down a body. Needs to be absolutely crucial and detrimental that you win this round on your bodies. Castle has been found on his bodies, and it should be an easy gunfight here for the Flores if he can pre-fire. And he does do so indeed, and it seems like this map has went all 12 rounds, and it is going to be over slightly, but maybe not if Lupin has something to say about it. The pre-fire will connect, and it's a triple kill. It's a 1v1, and that's what you get for speaking out too soon. 1 minute, 9 seconds left, and all he has to do is play his time, as Thermite only has 2 flashes and no case in the hand. Lupin, you lose the gunfight. It was so crucial and imperative. You took it right there, but you just fall short. And that is 7-5 in the favor of Saturility. And that's their first round in their hands. And what a game that is. A round that was fought to the dying embers. Sadly, not sadly for Saturility, as that is their map pick. It goes in their favor. And that, my friends, is going to take us into a 5-minute break between our next map, and we'll bring back our final closing remarks of this map after the break. We'll be right back. We're back. So fast, so soon. I told you guys we'd be back nice and quick. Chalet is the next round in our hands. What a beautiful map. Everybody loves a good Chalet. And let's talk about our final remarks right after these map intros. And as we do head right back into the ban phase, there's not a single dull moment in today's stream as Monty will take our first attacker ban, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you are just joining us here today, I am Sino, your host, Hendry Caster, and everything else. And today we're playing out the ECS lower bracket quarterfinal between two very good teams. We've seen it barely boil down to the last dying embers of the clubhouse game, and without that being said, there's just even more passion coming in from both of them now. An even bigger drive as Saturility now has the map advantage, and CrownZero should have the passion to bring it back and win 2 in a row. Tabaro taking the ban ensures walls will stay closed, and he can only do that if the Cade's off the board. Now, if you are just joining us for the day, we are on Chalet. That is our second map out of 3. If we do go to all 3 maps, it will go down the border, but we've seen Saturility Esports win 7-5 against CrownZero. Chalet will be current, and border will be the decider if it does go to all 3 maps. First sight of the day is going to be Kitchen, and what would you expect? Mira is on the board though, and so is Frost with all the operators that can help them deny the verticality. So let's see if they'll bring that. They bring the Kaid, they bring the Frost. Yes. Where is the Mira? Nowhere to be found. Taking a look at this, you do need to go upstairs and get that setup done fast, because this site, you're only vulnerable from 3 essential windows. The ones from West Main and the ones coming in from Trophy. If you go upstairs, you're vulnerable to so many more windows where you can get picked out from external holds. So it is imperative they hold it down and then get to work on the site. A little bit of a balance doesn't hurt anybody. Keeping the site set up fluid is so imperative to being able to win your gunfights and winning the game ultimately. Now, we have seen beautiful shots coming in from both of these teams on Clubhouse, and breaking down how they've played before is just something that is needed to be broken down. In terms of their utility, we've seen them get punished for not using their headsets properly and hearing the easy swings that you can capitalize off of, but we've seen them capitalize on the harder situations that not a lot of people would imagine to win. Seeming to have the general knowledge of where somebody is, but trying to do what anybody tries to do and find the first pick on defense. Thermite finding that breach nice and early is something that's beautiful. You don't have that pressure coming in from Library, from Mezzanine, or Ivy. It's beautiful, as now they just need to get the breach and force anybody off of Piano, and now they'll have full access to the site, both verticality and from straight on. Cade seeming to wanting to toss a C4 to deny. Correct me if I'm wrong, that was a Kaid claw. Attackers are wedged in a beautiful position here, but it's all about who can get the first pick. The FNAT does affect the Capitao for some time, but eventually will get shot out. The first pick will fry the man off of the Piano. Capitao getting refragged. Double kill in the hands here of Lupin, as he'll take care of the Twitch in the Capitao. That's no more easy denial. Your easy plant is now out the window. You have the Grim now to keep it alive. The question is, are you going to lose your Thermite before that happens? Kaid getting shot through the desk, and that's Hookah to keep himself on the board, taking matters into his own hands, as now he has 2 AMPs in the pocket. It has gotten himself his opening pick. to get rid of 2 out of the 3 attackers playing verticality, and it's going to be the 3rd because the frost is too low. She's found the 2 picks needed, and now it's all anybody's game to go upstairs and get the things done. Brava in a little bit of a stalemate here with a Fenrir, but now is going to have to act a little faster. But the question is, does she know there's somebody right behind her? No, she doesn't, and that's Brava capitalizing on Jamito's first substitute round. Haven't seen much of him. It is his first game, but gets fragged out nice and early into the round. Brava looking for the electric claw to hack, and it will connect. 25 seconds with no C4 and 1 HP. He got a double kill earlier. What more could you ask from the man, as now he's been caught on a drone. He's going to receive pressure from literally all fronts of the map, from the breach, from the door, from 45, and from the verticality. What more? As this breach is going to waste some time getting open just on the fuse time, and trying to swing out would have been the potential there if he was to be aimed in, but Brava's there to capture the mistake and punish it. That's 1-0 in the favor of CrownZero. Beautiful first round, sets them up for the second. They have the right operators, they have the right ideas, but you have to ask yourself, would the Italians be better off if they had brought the Mira for the site setup instead of taking it to chance on their ones? They go right back downstairs like nothing ever happened, and that's going to either show us some passion, or it's just going to be a forbiddable mistake that will force them to go down 2-0. Late to the setup, we might see an early pick here if an attacker decides to get lucky and start spraying the windows. Now we're looking at a library eccentric push. Is something that is not too out of the ordinary for both teams, really, as library is just such a fun place to push. F2 in hand is something that is out of the ordinary. You usually see teams prioritizing the F17 as it's just the best gun to use. The DMR, that's 2-shot, range, close distance, or at distance. What more could you ask for? Right now, they're seeming to get the breach again quite fast. Brava and Twitch in the hands. What more could you ask for when just getting the breaches done and dusted and getting them all open? And right now, not much to clear on the roam except for the people playing upstairs, who will seem to be very tough to deal with if you do not clear them as well as you cleared them last round. Seeing how we're seeing so much distance begin to be covered, it's going to look like the attackers are at the advantage here. They've taken care of the shield on Piano. Not a single person is aware that there's a shock drone just pummeling them from within and waiting for the Cade to throw down that claw. And I am highly certain that we need to talk about some aim labs coming through here, as the Thermite's going to get denied. And that is beautiful. Ash going in again for her silent walk-in. Thermite now is conflicted to pick between below or downstairs, but Ash will get one. Twitch will get the second. It's 1 kill in for the Echo, but not something that is going to be definitive, as the Fenrir will be the one to wedge himself in here. Got first picked off last game, or last round by mistake, but now seeming to be a little bit more of a formidable opponent, as now he's punishing anybody for walking into his crosshairs. One body in sight, the rest of the soft roaming around, and the Fenrir will be still wedging himself in between, and a pre-fire takes off the head of Skips, and a triple kill. Can he get the clip? You're on your quad. Find your clip. He knows exactly where you are, but you know exactly where he is, and you're frying from within. That's exactly why you don't let first impressions be the first determinant when you engage with somebody, because right now he's frying from within and single-handedly dismantles the attacker. Almost gets C4'd by his own teammate. And right now, Frost gets caught off guard, tries to hop in, and the Fenrir, though, The breach is open, but it's just going to be a 1v1 if the Fenrir remains unaware, but it seems like he knows. And can you confirm that quad kill for your clip? Yes, you can. And that's Gemito on his 4th and getting the first round on for Saturility. A very valuable substitution as he went from 0 to hero on that quad kill. Curveballs from both teams. You don't see much. You see either 50-50 or 100-100. Both teams have a little bit of an interesting approach to both the sites, whether it's holding it or attacking it, but that's exactly why we like to see the creativity coming in from both of these teams. Blackbeard remaining the ban phase again. He's going to be brought. We've yet to see anybody use Blackbeard correctly, so let's see how they'll prioritize it, because so far absolute chaos has ensued when he's being brought on the roster, especially on such a condensed map, such as Chalet, where the sites are just inch by inch. Upstairs is going to be their forced reminders will go up. Nobody decides to go down because they don't have the Azamir that's to borrow. It would be a foolish mistake to go downstairs without these key operators. Keeping dining room held is very imperative with the roamer as well to deny that dining room library access. Gemito being a very aggressive person here, but will have a very easy C4 if somebody does decide to so gullibly walk and rappel in through this K9. Here, just waiting for somebody to make the mistake of daring to walk into his crosshairs of those C4s. One man committed to finding library, but not a single body is now there to commit to it. One will be in there to rappel. Will the C4 be tossed is the question. Happy feet as the Valkyrie is still looking to get an easy early first kill. Striker, are you going to be so gullible as to walking into the crosshairs, or are you going to wait till you get the drone? Blackbeard has been located by word of mouth from the castle, and now the defenders do need to start setting up, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Setting up the shield to not allow it to get fried so easily from a frag grenade or a Flores drone is going to allow them to buy themselves some more time. Vigil is going to be the man to have the first encounter with the Blackbeard. Capitao seeming to catch this Vigil off guard nice and easy, but going back would force you to go into the hands of the Blackbeard, but you've allowed him to make too many easy rotates, and the Vigil will narrowly escape with his life. Just quick feet as they're trying to dance around each other, but what can you do against an ACOG? And it's apparently nothing as you get taken off eventually. The dining room hold, Free Fire almost finds the life in the head of the castle, but it does not. Now all of the attackers seem to be, they just want to be consistent on holding this down, and the Blackbeard getting aggressive here, but getting fragged out. You got to stay aware of your surroundings and the head holes that follow, and Castle being hit up once is going to deal, and him just swinging. And that's almost a triple as it is. Are we going to see another clip from another player on Saturility? Because they're just wrecking it in from within. Ice Skip's now at 1 HP. Vulnerable to 1 bullet, so is the castle. But the M4 will land onto the head of the Vigil. But 3 life pings will also give it the position of the Goyo. But it'll be looping to get himself on the board for the first time as he just walks down Fireplace and gets himself the easy kill. Case not in hand. Being in sight doesn't seem to be as important now that you have nothing to do with it. And tries to use his shotgun, doesn't hear the audio cue of a man walking into his head, and a quick burst of the bullets will land onto the face of this Grim, and Fleeks will go down to the hands of the Vector in Elijah. What a clip by Flomi. Now that's 2 separate clips in 2 separate rounds. What a round, and that'll send us to Barn Gaming. Are they finally gonna bring Amira here? You have her for a reason, and we haven't seen her get prioritized. She's finally brought. And are we gonna see a Wamai or a shield? We'll see the shield, no Wamai to back up the Miras or the singular shield. What a game from both these teams. Absolutely crucial coming in from both of them. They just know what they want to do here. Bar dining, very, very simple site to hold if you can get your things done. And by things, I mean your setups. Now, we're not seeing a castle, a Mira, or a Wamai. Mira got 6th picked after the turnoff from the smoke. But right now, you're missing the key components to keeping the longevity of the shield and the mirrors. We're looking for an inverted play that is easy collapsible if an attacker were to take defense control of library, but the first Mira will go in below, and the second one will be in the connector. Now, the Wamai is not being brought is a little concerning and going to be a little challenging, and the castle also just allows the windows to get opened up on you very easily. Blackbeard being brought again. Hopefully it is much more coordinated on his end as he was deciding to sprint at the player's full speed. Maybe not the greatest of ideas, but hopefully he's here for greater pastures. And Capital looking to swing or capitalize anybody going into a swing. And what a pixel that is. Wow, look at that. Anybody walking up is going to get punished here. We might see that nice and soon. But as of now, we are going to have to see the shield. And guess what? It's gone. As I've said, you need the Wamai or the Jaeger, or you're going to have a hard time. They didn't even need the Flores. Sen's using the new ability to be able to activate the lasers, and Frost now left in an easy gunfight, needing to reload. But Blackbeard, what are you doing? You might as well just lay on the ground and say, hey, come kill me, as you're allowing easy picks for the defenders. And that's a 5v3, as Saturility just killed off the lead and ran away with it. They've gone amok. The Flame Bolt forces the Mira out, but guess what? She still has the easy position to assume into library, and it'll be a gunfight here, but doesn't really matter. You have a very committed clear, but you've still lost 2 of your very simple bodies, and potentially 3 if Gridlock doesn't decide to go down, and she will not. 4v2 as Ice Skips will try to find the lifeline for his team, but it doesn't seem to be there. But he'll find 2, making that lifeline seem even bigger and better as he almost lands that 3rd shot. And what a flick that would have been, and what a shot it could have potentially been. But it seems as if it's the end of this, because wow, what a shot by Loki. And he seems to be in a situation where he is getting absolutely ran at full speed, and a little bit of a toss coming in here from the defenders. But this player needs to be put into the aim labs. It would have been a 1v1 here if he were to capitalize off that mute. Smoking out himself to get in sight, and that's smart. 2 C4s and you're a little lower than anticipated. Not the greatest of situations when you have to face against a shotgun, but you'll capitalize. Is this the greatest we've seen? What a toss! And that's the kill in the quad for Capital. A tactical timeout needs to be requested after a blunder that only teams that are down 4 bodies would only dream of. Wow! As CrownZero evens it up 2-2. That is absolutely treacherous there for Saturility. Wow. Not the greatest of mentalities you want to have when you move on in to the site you've struggled with the first and the second time around. You've capitalized the second time, but after a round like that, the IGL must have some words with his team about what to expect, because you cannot expect 3 players to go flying out a window and expect to win the round against the Para. Very, very powerful gun, and the Mute had the opportunity to end it all off with a shotgun, but didn't for some reason. And now we're seeing the after effects of that being 2-2. successfully taking the drones. It's all quiet on the western front while both teams are just clearing utility and getting themselves set up to get into the gunfights. First breach will get open. If the Cade has something to say about it, it will not, as he successfully tricks it. And again, the Thermite is conflicted whether to open up the breach downstairs or upstairs. You give up either the very important verticality, or you'll choose to have direct contact into sight. The shield now placed in the room is going to allow these crouch rolls to be used much more effectively if offices are to be lost. Teams have been easily allowed to walk in through piano, and right now that is something that needs to be changed. Just having this is something that is beautiful for the attackers, but they just can't capitalize. What I thought was just going to be a stalemate of twinkle toes between the fighters is just going to be the demise of the Thatcher. And right now, Echo's put in a beautiful spot where he can just keep isolating his gunfights and going 1-for-1. Switching out to the Bearing 9 because a close range gunfight means you want a better ranged optic. Not being able to win it because the mighty R4C puts him in a bad situation, but you're 1 HP, not much to do. You might survive if a player doesn't capitalize, and Jamito will go to finish his kill, and now the attackers are down a body. Headshot from Lupin from the run out onto the big window. We'll deal with that situation as well. Bulletproof cameras in the favor of the attackers, and now you're dealt with dealing with the man himself that can just punish you on every roam. But apparently these guns are just pea shooters, as they'll all go down to 1 HP in every single interaction they'll have. And the C4 toss will connect if executed perfectly. On the front doorstep, and the Cado's gonna get involved now. I don't think they knew this until he threw that C4, but he'll still win it. Getting punished shortly after, but Lupin from Solarium will be there to capitalize and give the round right back to the Italians. And when there's no mistake, they be capitalizing almost 24/7. What a game this is from both teams. It's been back and forth almost every single round. And again, Saturility on defense. And we might see them double the differential up to 4-2. Or we'll see them go 3-3. It's very similar to last game. But again, we're seeing them learn from their mistakes. And that is something I like to say hat and a round of applause to anybody. Because they've brought the shield this time. But guess what's different? They brought the Jaeger. Very, very crucial to be able to deny anybody trying to throw in the projectiles to get the shield, or the mirror's gone. Hopefully this library window won't be a priority of theirs. Still missing that castle, meaning it will be very vulnerable to anybody trying to walk in. So not the best of ideas, but to each their own. Now, the defenders are a little late to the setup, and Jaeger's the one standing in between everything and the attackers. And right now, almost meeting his maker nice and early. We're just seeing Hookah walk in and just try to take any engagement and try to find a gun here. Again, just a twinkle toes on these one taps. And guess what? Hookah is gonna smoke you, pun intended, as he'll find you. And Jamito will go down shortly after, and that's a 1-6 for him. And Pex, haven't seen much of him, and not the greatest, as now they've lost 2 defenders so quickly. And this is what I mean. There's not a dull moment in this round, and these mirrors might prove useful if they don't have that Capital on the board, but you need the player supporting you from library, or anybody hopping into this window will be able to catch you nice and early. Anybody sticking up their head here might be able to meet a maker, find a pick. Frost seeing the kneecaps of Baki will find one. The Rotero charge pushing him down, and Mira realizes danger is near and will back off. The shield finally falls due to the overwhelming of the Jaeger ADSs. The drones fly through to locate anybody trying to play in the depths of library, but Elijah in a situation where he can punish anybody walking or across. C4 toss is also a very viable option. Shotgun 2, you have so much utility and so much potential here to just deny. You're still down the body, but you're in the positions where you can just accept any of the defenders or the attackers and send them back to where they came from, being in the situations where they cannot plant easily at all unless they take games, which they cannot due to the pressure from the Mira. Attackers just circling here to try to find a body. The Frost, who is just no longer there, completely rotated over to 45. And does the Ash know this? You're the spear entry. You need to have the intuition to know exactly what they're thinking. But again, no wall hacks for them, so they don't know everything. They also don't have the drones on 45. So live pings will not be on her. In 20 seconds is a beautiful waste of time for the attackers. And a C4 in the hands of Elijah is going to be something to deal with. Frost not overly extending yet, as she's going to wait for the first, but waited too long. But Flammy will win it anyways. And it is just going to be the pressure coming in from main and from the site to be able to shred from within to tie it up 3-3 as we move on to the attacker-defender switch. Wow. The Frost had the perfect flank and decided to play money. Decided to wait the man out to get a double kill, but waited too long as the Ash got that intuition magically and fried to send them into the next round. And CrownZero winning their one-taps and their gunfights very easily is the reason they've had 3 rounds recorded. We go right back to dining. Again, why do so many teams love this? We've seen this site a minimum of 5 times. But we go right back to it. Setup not looking too different, but the Kaid's not brought, and that's something we've been seeing from CrownZero is they don't like to utilize the utility that they've been gifted. No idea why, because they didn't bring the Mirror of the Kaid, though am I. Little bit harder to hold, but we'll see. Pixel again here. If a man were to keep holding that, that would have been the end of Pex, nice and short. But we've already seen the attackers take a good amount of control very fast, actually. They've confirmed bottom mezzanine to themselves. Blue is also going to be a fairy tale for any flankers because these track stingers are quite a pain to deal with. Taking the top floor advantage as well. No roamers can be on this backside, and now it's all about winning the gunfights. The head holes are going to be placed onto the right side or left side of offices now for anybody trying to walk in through, making it harder for Saturility because we see them fully reinforced it off and they paid the price the time they lost strictly on bodies. No K-trick this time around. We'll confirm 1 raw, and the second will be open shortly after if they get the verticality or they have EMPs to get rid of this jam. Nobody in piano. Goyo taking some preliminary damage, but deciding not to recontest and waiting for anybody to swing them. The FNATs will get activated as we do here, and we'll have one man assume the position of bathroom, and the top solar hold will be something that will be prioritized over risking your life over denying. It'll be just a game of peekaboo between the Mute and the Thermite, and the Frost decides to take the flank as a challenge. If you can shoot the track without taking all of this damage, she'll have something on her hands. It'll be absolutely great. The first kill is upstairs, and it will be Chem to get it, because who else? As now the attackers are circling the block and finding anybody. The C4 will not be tossed as the Thermite has Overwatch and will get the plant down. Fender, seeming to be looking up the hatch, has so much more to deal with as the engagement from the gridlock is going to be imperative, but the flank from the Frost is going to be beautiful here as the Fenrir will isolate with the Bailiff, but it'll melee and waste the opportunity to capitalize. Echo's still alive here. Is this a world-class recovery as they've managed to give up all the bodies, kill the Planter, and now it's beautiful as they have nothing to deal with when the plant is there. There's no pressure, but you're still gonna have to deal with the man with the R4C himself. Jamito is now, he's frying from within, and now the Gridlock tag teams up with Gem to find all the bodies, takes care of them, and that's the round confirmed. 4-3 in the hands of the Italians. Again, what a game, and recoveries from both sides are just something that need to be spoken about. It's beautiful from both teams as they always have that priority and they always have the knowledge on what they want to do, how they want to do it. And that is what successfully wins them their rounds. Taking us into our next round, we go upstairs. Bar is not going to be something they want to hold down, and with pleasure is something I like to say because I don't have to criticize the fact that they didn't bring the Jaeger and the Wamai. You think I'm obsessed with the German operators with the way I critique how no team brings them for the gym or the site on here, which is going to be the bar dining. So crucial on gym bedroom and clubhouse, and so crucial here on Chalet as well. But seeing as this map is one of the most picked, it's going to be imperative that teams capitalize and take this home. A little bit of an open concept site, no mirror, and they are just going to fully extend out because it's a second floor hole. Site is going to not be double reinforced and head holes. You see this at the collegiate level on the American PC servers. You don't really see this much on console or in a quarterfinal, but we see how it boils down. Frost being the main denial up here on mezzanine will wedge yourself between anybody playing library, but Scripps from Library Hall sitting in Ivy just swings out, finds one, might be able to find a second if the Brava decides to walk into his crosshairs. A stim is waiting for him if he can successfully find his asylum onto to the dock. Brava fading out, getting in, getting out just to get the mats. Frost mat successfully destroyed, and now again, you need to get control of library before you lose the general access to find the site. You've lost your hard breacher since the beginning of the round, and you've been put in a situation where you need to go directly for the gunfights. Gridlock now fully into library, finding one, finding the second, and it's mayhem all over as the lives are being lost like nothing happened. Trying to stay on top of the desk to evade the C4, but doesn't help as the Frost will swing out and get the nicest headshot onto Pex's head. And again, haven't seen much of him, going 2-8. A little bit of the step up might be needed, or a timeout might be what is needed for Saturility. Barely crossing the head of the mute and getting the confirmed kill is now 1 minute 20 seconds. Doesn't make it impossible. We've seen a 1v4 clutch already. Can we see it again? The breaches aren't open, and he's put in a little bit of a different situation, but he has 100 HP and 2 frag grenades in the pocket. Clearing any of the corners, but is just going to be a formality as all of the defenders have crossed right back into sight. A Jaeger would have saved that shield, but it is no longer. Frost getting aggressive here and has nobody backing her up right now as the Doc has decided to wait it out, and now getting aggressive, gets taken out. Almost a repeat of the round where we've seen Saturility throw, but CrownZero will be the ones to confirm that round, and Frost delivering that final blow to finally give the advantage into the hands of CrownZero. And my mistake, it's actually tied. Wow. It's been neck and neck, but we haven't seen CrownZero take the lead for some time now, and that is something to speak to because they've been trying their best. They've been getting it down to the last dying seconds of the rounds, but they haven't been able to find those last shots that'll put them either ahead or into the third map. They take us downstairs for the first time around. Is this very smart, or is this respectable, or is this just plain foolish? This site is not something people want to be at. It is an annoying site to be on. It has so many areas of entry. You can get one breach and you allow yourself to see into the main, cut yourself off between blue, connector, and all of that good stuff. Can they make it work? They brought the Vigil as their main denial, and we might be in for a good hold in that case. As now, Trench being held down with a shield is not something that is too uncommon, but it is going to be held down by the Wamai, with his discs providing the oversight that is needed. Frag grenade, stuns are going to be caught, but guess what? You're dealing with a ward. Your stuns don't mean much, but why would you stand up in the situation where you have a shock and you can make them come to you? Overwatch means absolutely nothing. The discs eventually fall, the shield will fall, and you have no shotgun to get you those easy flashy kills that are needed. No jammer to protect as well, and a reinforcement is something that is needed to prevent trench control from being so easy. The early engagement, again, is just all over the map, as now Jamino is taking very heavy damage, but Wamai will be there to punish him. Scripps taking damage from Trench, and it just battles all over the map. That's going to confirm it. Lupin completely unaware as to where the Vigil is, and the Boss G will deliver that final blow, still giving them the advantage needed. Wamai still trying to wedge himself in between himself and the site, but the Trench breach getting open. The easy oversight in is just something that'll be inevitable to meet your maker, and Wamai is going to either be forced to swing out or wait for the attackers to circle. Vigil backing him up into the connector, and aggression is needed. He knows that to even out the bodies. Sees his head, and right now the boss will deal damage. The thermite will provide oversight from the breach, and Wamai is going to be pinched, but he's isolating his ones perfectly as he's going to go around. You have to expect him to your left, and that's a 1v1 in the hand of Loki. He's managed to do it all for himself. He has the flash, and the disc will play against him that he placed down earlier. His pistol is out. Cannot reload his AR. You have your flashes, just use them, and he will do so. Will get full blinded. The second one will deliver the final blow, and he will swing, and he will win it while flashed. This is the type of commentary. This is the game you live for, as an absolute quad kill clutch for the second time around on a 1v4 or a 2v4 blunder sets them up for the map advantage, and now it's 5-4 in the favor of CrownZero. What a clutch for 15 kills next to his name, and that is what you live to see. We're looking at Bine and Kitchen again. Time and time we're seeing very, very bad throws coming in from Saturility. It's not the best when it comes down to the last dying embers of the round, and you have a flash in the pocket and you just cannot utilize it. CrownZero has the opportunity to send us into map 3. They're one round away from doubling the differential and sending us into map point, or closing it down right back to a tie. Now, we see CrownZero play a little bit more passive when it comes to upstairs. That's exactly what you need. Not having a Kaid and these head holes just allows you to get a pick and just back off like nothing ever happened. Versus Saturility's defense holds, we see them just take control of this hallway and just walk in like nothing ever happened because these two walls were reinforced. So it's all about the even balance that is needed. Goyo now is going to be the man who tasks himself with the responsibility of finding the opening kill to be able to get something done for the defenders, because he knows that first pick is going to confirm the advantage needed to be able to send his team to match point. No jammer is protecting this breach. Frag gets tossed open, gets the Goyo canister as well. And that is beautiful to pop so early on into the round. So when it comes to your late round executes, there's nothing to worry about. Yokai below on the hatch and one planted out into dining is going to be very easy to deny the plant. One C4 coming in, and the crosshair placement from Gem is just absolutely beautiful, and it's been getting him the kills so deserved. And right now, we're seeing bathroom control being generally lost, but it does have the opportunity to be gained back if Gem falls or is completely unaware as to what the holds are. Lupin getting himself on the board, finally on Brava. We're gonna see the site now being opened up to even better pastures, and now Frost finally gets his team on the board. It'll be one, almost finds the second, but a double team from the IQ and the Ash will give him the next. And now you'll see 1 minute left on the clock as we've seen an evening out kill as it's just been closed down to a singular body. Goyo now sitting in the corner of Trophy, and this is the only area where you can rat and hope to God it'll work out in your favor. But Ash, very close to meeting her maker here if she doesn't get saved by the metal bars. And the frags flying in will deny the shield. Gets popped with no problems and no troubles. Echo still on the board will be there to deny, but he's on a flank right now. If they can stick that plant, it won't matter. Early engagement as Gem uses the breach charge to bait it out, and Echo still baiting. You guys have to be aware that there's going to be somebody waiting for you in the corner. And the second Sonic Boom will get him gone. He's just going to keep sticking it because he knows how easy it is to do so. And he's just going to keep waiting it out. And an execute, run into the other site. What are you doing? And he's going to win the round solo-handed. Run into another site. What are you trying to do to continue to hold it? And he manages to do it. Clutching it. Echo taking them to overtime, or taking them to match point with no chance of overtime. The 2-8 hero. Why keep sticking the plant? Your IQ run into another site. And what an absolute blunder by Saturility. They win their gunfights, but they aren't executing mentally, and that's what we're seeing. Execute and see them lose their rounds off of their executes. And wow, and not a singular team timeout has been called, which is even worse, because you allow your team to start going down the what-if spiral when you could have just walked into another site and planted where the Echo had no jurisdiction. An absolute round to go back and watch and say what just happened is on the deck. That's a 1v4 earlier today where everybody flew at the man full speed, giving CrownZero a round. The second one, just walking into his crosshairs. And the third, allowing the Echo to fire 55 Sonic Booms on you. And you get yourself 5 big booms, apparently, to lose your lead. And now, what a round. First kill, very easy apparently for the Ash. Just walks in and just takes care of the man in the basement from the garage. Wow. Gem, 13 kills next to his name, but still falling a little short. Might have the easy opportunity to just walk up into West Main, and right now might be able to catch Fleeks or Flex off guard. These Germans and their names, man. He's catching me off guard. Ash still wedging herself between West Main. Nobody on the head holes to deny her. And it will just be the dock to look for her. Goyo and Frost tagged up to deny anybody taking library or Ivy control. And Buck is going to be just crawling through and barely sees the head but doesn't capitalize it. And Goyo will help out, find a kill as well. And it'll go hookah down. Ash just walking in completely unaware as to what is happening. 3v2 as Saturility gains the gun advantage again and will make it a 3v1. But we've been in a similar situation before, but the breach will get open. They're taking blue, Ivy, and K9 control. And right now, they have the opportunity to give themselves the second round to send it to 5-6, closing the advantage just to 1 now. What is Baki looking at? Waiting close and Will prone, winning the gunfight. That's Gem on a triple kill, and that sends them to 5, 6, and 15 kills next to Gem's name. That's 2 players in this game with 15 next to them. It's so obvious that it's just pure gun skill coming in from Saturility, and then they use their utility second hand to be able to find their way into the site. And for the other team, it's inverted. They wait it out, they wait on their utility, and then they use their gunfights. It's probably why we've been seeing such evened out games. Second time we went to 5-6 today. Let's see how we'll play this out. Are we going to map 3, ladies and gentlemen? I'm seeing the chat lose their minds about what happened on that last to last round where the man just didn't run away from the diffuser, and now we're seeing a basement as the potential last site. Headholes across the main breach is a little bold, but could prove to be proper for them. Let's see how they'll play it out. IQ's caught a man on the drone. It's an easy kill here, but Warden will hop off. Hopefully won't make the mistake of deciding to stand up mid-gunfight. And no Nomad has the opportunity to do something here, but the Vigil is going to be the man unaware on the drone. One last chance for this Flores to find the shield, and right now the shield does not exist. Warden, though, being the man himself, dealing with only operators below 100 HP, has the opportunity to do something great here and just start swinging. They're waiting for the swing, but Warden is still sitting close. Edging closer and closer. She's reloading. He'll punish off of it, but the shotgun doesn't connect. Obvious outrage if I was Fleeks, but right now that gives the attackers the advantage needed to start winning the gunfights, and that's exactly what they'll do, taking care of the Jaeger and the Wamai. And now, taking care of everything. You've just walked into sight and waltzed in the C4 will claim your life as you're trying to get the plant down. And what just happened? It looks like we're going to go to map 3, ladies and gentlemen, because Vigil's back to sight. A minute, 30 seconds. We've seen clutches, but can he do it to send his team into overtime? Because it's so crucially needed right now. Waiting on a response and has the opportunity to plant because, let's be honest, what's that Volcan doing? Waiting for the pick as Stevie shots from the feed holes. Ace will make it a 1v1. You've isolated it. You've done the legwork. Either bait the plant, get the res, or isolate. And you know exactly what you want to do. The Vigil will assume control of blue, and he knows he just needs to isolate, and you'll use the Ace Selma breach as cover to get the diffuser down, and he's behind you. The question is, don't you know? Look behind you, Lupin, as you'll get the shots. It'll be ring around the Rosie, and he'll confirm the clutch to send us into overtime. It's just clutch on clutch on clutch. I cannot believe what I am seeing, and we are getting sent to overtime as this game is literally just 1-for-1 clips. Absolute farmers on both teams. This has to be script writing, and that'll send us into 3 rounds of overtime. No infinite OT, so it's going to be who can capitalize the most. And what a clutch to give Lupin his 13 kills on the board. Loki, haven't seen him since his trench clutch downstairs and has been on 15 ever since. Jamito just capitalizing and making himself go crazy, and that is 16 next to his name. What an absolute game we've been seeing. And right now, we're either going to map 3 border, ladies and gentlemen, or we're calling it right here. We're back down. The Warden's also here as well. Clutch allows them to have it in an absolute overwhelm of flashes. I am pretty sure that is 6 flashes or 3. Gets caught by the effects, so and a little bit of an audio glitch won't allow us to determine how many flashes have been thrown, but seeing Pex has lost 2, Nomad has lost 1, we'll say it's 3. Another early engagement, but Gem will win 1. The question is, will he win the second? Well, my knows it's all about playing the tide because he's been erasing every single one of your teammates if they've walked into their crosshairs, and it'll just be a one-tap paddle again, and Gem just beams anybody who walks in, and we're gonna seem to get a little aggressive again. And right now, the drone a little bit backfires here, and we're just waiting. Deciding to rotate off, the best situation anybody could ask for, and right now, you need to find the Wamai. Could be standing up, could be waiting for you, but while he does that, his other attackers are going to be going in for small car to get the other breaches open to wedge that Wamai and the Warden in. That's Warden downstairs, gone and dusted. Jamito gets the double kill, and the advantage that was so needed has put themselves on the board for a 3v1 again. Again, it's been a 3v1 every clutch we've seen, so it all boils down to right here because this is the end. And Fenrir makes it a 1v2. There's no way this happens 3 whole times in a row. The attackers separated by the dividers, and right now it'll be Jamito because who else will you leave to clutch for 19 kills? A 20 bomb is something that will be guaranteed if he doesn't get first pick next round, and they'll take overtime match point. With defense in their hands, an absolute advantage if you ask me. This game has been nothing but action-packed, and you could say that about the series as well. But do we go to 7-7? Do we go to 8-6? Or are we going to see the greatest comeback from CrownZero? They've had it. They had the 2 rounds advantage again, and they've lost it. It was the same on Clubhouse. You have to talk about what can you do as a team to play better, because right now we've been seeing them lack a little bit on that coordination front. Getting all hydrated before we go into our potential last round. This is going to be the final dying embers of this game. And no matter what happens, we're in for a treat. Right now, setting up is a little late to the board, and again, nobody has brought a mirror for this side, which has been a little concerning, but you can have your spear entry on Hookah this time, taking full control of library alongside with his stat. And his other Remnant teammates getting into the building and getting their things done. Now, pressure in from Piano Windows will allow Flores to do his job and get those drones to get the shield gone, and the Echo not paying any mind to it. Luckily, is almost able to catch it, but a game of Ring Around the Rosie will eventually say goodbye to that shield, and that's the utility fried off a Piano. As we've spoken about before, double reinforcing this allows anybody to walk in, and it's made this hall a little bit of a dead space for the defenders to watch. All quiet here as we're just waiting for somebody to get something done here. Waiting to get the breaches open. Ash will have the vertical overwatch, but he's still going to be tricking it. He'll just run past it, and the breach will successfully get open. 1 minute, 30 seconds left on the clock, and right now, They've wasted a good amount of time, and there's nothing needed to be done here except for go for the run out, and manages to evade the Claymore somehow. That's something to look back at map replay. Evades the Claymore and falls down. And that is the advantage, taking care of the floors with 3 Rotero charges left in the pocket. Getting long angle in the sight isn't really going to help you when you need to deal with so much more utility. Overswinging should be the main priority right now for the defenders. Pixel from hell being held, and he decides to give it up because he knows that red dot doesn't give him the depth he needs. C4, no connection, but will get fleeks down now to 4 and below 20 HP. Will be jammered off, and right now, the Thatcher has nothing to deal with that, and somebody will have to risk their life to getting it shot. Who is doing anything? Nothing, as Loki will find the refrag, but it doesn't do anything before you can find the death of the Thatcher, and the Electrifier does nothing because it comes back live and your breach is gone. Sacrifices for absolutely no reason, as you've lost your top fragger, you've lost the breach, and you've lost all ability to do anything, as it's a 4v1, and it seems as if we've sent CrownZero home, as the Frost will get taken down. The Mute deciding to recontest, and he'll be the one to find the kill, find the game, and find the series for his team, calling it the game for Saturility. An absolute beautiful deserved map comeback will put them on the win. Wow, what a game that has been, and wow, you just can't expect anything from both teams. This has been absolute cinema, with one map going to a potential close overtime and the second one going to that overtime. It's an absolute GG's on both ends, and without further being said, I dread to say I have been your caster, your host, and your on desk. I have been Sino. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys in the next cast on this channel or for this league. Thank you.